Hello, everyone. I'm not sure how well this will come through as far as sound, hopefully, because there's a lot of background noise where I am. However, this video could be for both male and female, but I think more I would like to direct it toward females. You know, I have sisters, I have a lot of acquaintances, and I hear this often, how independent women are. And now it looks like we live in a society where women are financially almost doing better than men. They are, they're high ranking in their careers. And they constantly, you hear this, I am an independent woman. And I wonder, what does that really mean? Because as I talk to these women, I wonder really, how independent are they? And I guess what I mean by this is, you can be financially independent, but you can be very much emotionally dependent. And in several instances that I have come across in family and friends, as I listen to them talk, I realize they are very emotionally dependent. And that could be the reason why they are single. Because it's not financial independence that can attract you to the person that you would desire or even supposed to be with. But it's that emotional independence. And that's lacking, because it looks like they get their identity from what they've accomplished, or what they're driving, or what sorority they have belonged to or pledged to, or what they have achieved in the academic world, being master's degree, doctorate degree, or they get their identity from what instead of who. See, who you are and what you have done is two different things. And if you misconstrue the two, then you have a false sense of confidence. Your confidence is in what you've done, and that has become part of your identity. And I find this a lot, while inside they are emotionally weak and dependent, and sometimes codependent. And I think that could be a major issue, that one would have to really look deep within themselves, past what they have accomplished, and ask yourself, am I emotionally independent? Because see, in a relationship, you need to become interdependent with whomever you join yourself with. However, interdependence is a choice that only independent people can make. If you are still dependent, then you cannot become interdependent. You cannot become interdependent until you have first achieved independence in a certain area. And what I find with these women that I listen to talk, they are financially independent, and maybe even to a degree socially independent. But when it comes down to the true inner self of their emotions, they are emotionally dependent. They have not even achieved emotional independence, thereby could never become interdependent with someone else, because they have not even made the first step of independence in the critical area of your being. Financially, okay. Socially, maybe, okay. But how about emotionally? Because that's what your mate has to live with. He has to live with you emotionally. When you shut the door, that's what come out. All your social skills, your skills of charisma, and what have you have achieved, and your, all of that stuff that you've achieved, what car you drive, your ranking on your job, all that goes out the window when you step inside of your home with your mate and close the door. And now who you are, not what you've done, but who you are, is what really comes out. And that's what he has to deal with. And I can thank God that I've been married for 25 years. And my wife never have had a career, ever. She's always taking care of our children. But she was a emotionally strong woman. And we were able to become emotionally interdependent because I had my strengths and she had her strengths in the emotional realm. And that's where it counted. So ask yourself this question. Ask yourself this question. Am I emotionally independent? How would I know? Am I emotionally independent? And sometimes that question takes on a different answer for different people. But we'll talk about this more later. And this does apply to men too, because men can hide their emotional state, which is a lot of times also emotionally dependent, behind what they've achieved, or how they look physically. And that's another thing women do. They can look very nice, they can have a nice presentation, but they can still be emotional babies. And if that's a problem, if they're emotionally immature and they have not achieved independence in the emotional realm, then they're going to be a problem, and it's going to be hard for them to be emotionally interdependent with whom they're seeking to be with, or maybe even whom they may be presently with. But that needs to be addressed, and oftentimes I find it to be covered up in the multitude of things that people achieve in their life, or they even cover it up with their children, but yet still emotionally they are dependent. And when that happens, and when that's present, then the relationship will suffer, because we must move from dependence into independence to interdependence in order for a relationship to grow and thrive. So just ask yourself that question. Where am I on the maturity spectrum? Am I still dependent? Have I achieved independence? And can I move on to interdependence? So until next time.